Hey, happy, beautiful, amazing day. Dr. Bob Rakowski here, May 27, 2020. Dr. Bob Rakowski, truth seeker, truth speaker. So we've solved the COVID problem. Now, you don't have to be a world-class scientist to get this. In fact, you could probably come up with this on your own. But which of these two individuals is more likely to have a COVID problem? And what's the solution? That is the question for today. People had asked, why should I listen to you? My answer is always the same. You should not listen to me. You should verify everything that I'm doing. The ultimate cure to our world is actually healthy skepticism. Look into what you're being told, verify the facts for yourself, do a little heart check. You have an internal meter for what's true and what is not. By the way, I have a 30-year history in clinical practice dealing with every end of the spectrum, whether we're talking about really elite athletes or people with problems that medicine couldn't solve. I've also taught doctors all over the world. So here's our friend Michelangelo's David. And here's the question, right? If you were going to go from this piece of marble to this work of art, is that a medical team or a health team's job? Think about that. If you're raw and uncut and you want to be your best, is that a medical team or is it a health team? And let's go the other direction. What if you haven't been doing like the things you should be doing? What if suddenly you become obese, depressed, high cholesterol, diabetic, high blood pressure, like way too many people? Is that a medical team's job or a health team's job to get you back to there? So this is Dr. David Katz. I've co-lectured with him at a major conference. But basically, he said, okay, guys, I'm going to give you everybody in the audience, the chance to end all sickness now. Who would do it? And I think nearly everybody in the room raised their hand, and he says, well, congratulations. You've just created the greatest economic collapse of humankind, because in the US, $1 in $3 is spent either making us fat and sick or treating us for being fat and sick. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a sharp character, knows a lot of stats, but basically he's talking about the impact of chronic disease on our children and how it's affecting every aspect of society. Here's some data on chronic illness in children. I don't want to bore you with graphs, but let's just say this is a real big problem. And this data is 13 years old. I promise you it's gotten worse since then. So let's take a look at this. 1 in 6 children has a developmental disability. Look at the incidence in all these major issues. Cancer is actually the number 2 cause of death besides accidents in children, right? And then you start looking and going, what do we need to do, right? So here's what JAMA said. They said regular medical care is important for all children to increase the chance that chronic disease is diagnosed and treated early. Now here's the question. If you take a kid, doesn't a kid start out right here and he can be that? So is that the job of a medical team or is that the job of a health team? And I really want you to look at that. Does medicine need to be involved? $3 and $4 of every dollar spent in the US is spent on chronic disease. And these people suffer for their entire lifespan. So this is a talk I gave called The Deadly Quartet. You can message me privately if you want a copy of that, but basically what really kills us: stress, toxins, malnutrition, and lack of physical activity. Do you think this sets us up for COVID? Oh yeah, stress suppresses the immune system. Malnutrition suppresses the immune system. Not enough or too much exercise is bad for the immune system, and toxins are bad for everything, including the immune system. And then we take people who are toxic, and what do? We put them on drugs. We're the most drugged nation in the history of the world. Oh, and by the way, 7 of the top 10 drugs set people up for a COVID crisis or even death. So is this a health guy or is this a sickness guy? Well, he's America's top expert on infectious disease. Infectious disease, is that health or is that sickness? That's sickness. If you wanted to go from here to here, it wouldn't be a health team. If you wanted to go in the opposite direction, that is a health team's job. Jocko Willink, his book, Extreme Ownership, he says, look, you just got to own it. Own your own wellness, own your own economy, own your own life. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, sharing a dose of truth today, but don't take my word for it. Verify all of it. Look up the stats. Make up your own mind. And if you like this, share it. I'm Dr. Bob Rakowski, absolutely knowing that you can all be happy, healthy, and successful.